What's the point of going to get educated for something to just work for someone and hopefully obtain a sense of comfort at some point, right? Like, it just never really made sense to me. And I was young when I discovered that you're probably better off doing something for yourself, because there's no limit to what you can do, there's no limit to your growth. But even that was like just enough information to make you feel like you could get ahead, and by all means you could actually get ahead and do better than a lot of people, but it wasn't really enough to really allow you to break free from the system without doing more. But it's usually the people who are doing things for themselves who find ways to do more, because they have challenges to face. And it took them time to refine their skills. And they have to use their skills to overcome these challenges, which refines their skills further. And most of the time, these are the people who make big breakthroughs, and really leap ahead. Which ties directly into my next point. They have skills that they have to exercise, and those skills took time. And I feel like this is something that people don't talk about because, well, everybody wants like the fast route to making money. Everybody wants to be 25 and rich, right? Or 35 and well off, whatever it is. Nobody wants to put in the time to get skills, because that's what skills require. It's time, all right? And that's probably why no one's really talking about it, because it doesn't have as much appeal. Everybody wants the quick answer. But I'm here to tell you that skills are the most valuable thing that you can have next to your time. Your time is the absolute most valuable thing. And you've probably heard me say this before on the channel, and you'll maybe hear me say it in almost every episode, but time is the most valuable thing that you have. And the value of that time increases or decreases based on how you spend it. So spend it wisely, okay? Spend it learning, all right? Don't waste it. Time isn't to be wasted. So what are you doing with your time? You wasting it? Huh? You punching your slug? Jacking your thing? Pursuing lovers? Worrying about spilling your chili? You spend a lot of your time seeking entertainment? One of the biggest wastes of time ever? Is that what you want to do? You want to be entertained? Huh? Watching King of Thrones so you can talk to who gives a F about what might happen in the next episode. Now, don't get me wrong, I like creative works, but entertainment, TV, that type of thing never resonated with me, because the bottom line is I was like sitting in one place, you know what I mean, wasting time, like potentially maybe getting some ideas, but based on my observation, it doesn't really seem like many people are really doing that based off of what's popular out there. Everybody's just like, oh, entertainment, yes, more, give me more. If one of your biggest focuses is entertainment or to be entertained, then I don't think you have the right to complain about literally anything in the world. You know what I mean? You're concerned with entertainment. What a luxury. Polluting their minds with all these terrible images and ideas and mindsets, Squid Game and whatever. I don't know. I don't watch TV, okay? It's programming. You all turn on your favorite programming, 'cause that's what they're doing to you, and you watch it through these channels. Whatever channel you like. It's kind of scary if you think about it, but what are you gonna do? Let me get back on track. If you have been spending your time though honing skills and learning new things, then I get it. The struggle is real, and I'm behind you. You have to figure things out on your own and really hone your problem solving ability, but keep doing it. That's what I'm here for, and that's what I'm here to talk about, because no one really talks about how much having skills can do for you, because I don't think people really understand the significance of having skills. So that was another thing that I never really understood about what people are really looking for when they want to make a lot of money or go to college and spend a lot of money. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the trades, you know. When people look at me and they're so fascinated by some of the work that I do, and they tell me, oh, I can't even swing a hammer. It's a little bit baffling to me because in one sense, it's almost like a basic need to be able to, you know, build a shelter for yourself. So yeah, it's a different way of looking at things. So I never really understood like college either, because I feel like a lot of people have this idea when they're young, like they can go to college, get a good job, and once they land that good job, life will be easy. And hey, to each his own. You know, for some people, that's fine, getting a good job and trading the rest of their time away. But a lot of stuff just isn't really applicable or relative to the majority of us, you know. But having skills and honing your skills is something that can really change your life. It can make it easier, it can make it better. The less you have to rely on others, the more independent you become. Being independent has so many beautiful benefits to it. Never having to pay for services, never really having to worry. When you have knowledge and you have skills, emergencies become a thing of the past. You don't really need to worry about things anymore because you know you have the skills to address whatever issues come up. And I don't know if you've seen any of my last videos, but I do try to appeal to people's desire to have fun. You know, the ability to create fun from having different skills, because I believe everybody deserves to have some fun, you know, whatever it is that you do. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, do what I did, or I can make you a millionaire, and it's all based on how you spend your time and what you do. I can tell you that some of the methods that I use, you can take and apply to whatever you want to do. And that's what I want, for you to do what you want to do. You know, there's so many people drawing you in with false hope, and do what I did. You can make so much money per month. You can make $10,000, $20,000, $1 million a month just by doing what I did, you know. But nobody ever tells you exactly what they did. They're usually like, look over here, look what these people did, copy this or copy that. And you know, it's all just kind of to appeal to your sense of disparity. If you're desperate and you really want to get ahead, the thing that I'm going to tell you is do whatever you want to do. Take the lessons that I learned and apply them to the things that make you you. Have fun in the ways that you have fun. You know what I mean? But understand the benefits of having skills and what they can do for your life more than just, you know, having fun. The fun is a byproduct of everything else becoming easier because you now know how to handle it. And I'm not going to tell you that it's going to happen quickly or overnight. That's really based on, you know, what you can do and what you can figure out, the opportunities you have, a little bit of luck. There's a lot of factors that go into it. You know what I mean? But you can really do a lot for yourself. You understand? I think there's this common misconception when we're young that we think like we can go to college and graduate, get the good job, and make enough money to really be able to just focus on what we're doing, what we qualified for, and have enough money to pay for everything else in life that comes up. And that's ideal, and for some people it does work. But for the majority, what I've found is that some of the most successful people I know didn't go to college. They didn't acquire any debt. They got right to making money, and they were smart with their money. They focused on growth, acquiring new skills, and going further. The more skills that people had, I noticed the further they would get and the easier their lives would be and the more they would have. So skills aren't just to, you know, create fun, as I've been displaying in some of my previous videos, but acquiring skills are the foundation of independence. And you know, even I started to see this for myself. But you know, I always had the mindset of how can I get ahead? How can I get further? You know, what more can I do? And a lot of times it came down to trading more of my time and my services and my skills for money. and to do more, along with some decent investments over time, which I started when I was very young. It wasn't until I was a little older, until more time started passing by, that I really started seeing, the difference and the benefits that the variety of skill sets that I had really made between me and a lot of my peers. Not only did they create a different lifestyle, but they also created a different mindset, and I would listen to the struggles of others, even those who were making a lot of money, and couldn't help but to think to myself, well, maybe I'm doing okay. I've also made a lot of sacrifices, not living in a good neighborhood, not driving around in the nicest car. I still drive around in old cars. I know a thing or two about engines and vehicles, and so that knowledge suits me. I prefer what I prefer. But it always made more sense to me because I understood that cars and vehicles in general were horrible investments and just a terrible place to spend your money. And I'm a car guy, when motorcycle, I love it all. Put an engine, put some wheels on it. Doesn't even need wheels. Just get me going and I'll have a smile on my face. But I wasn't going to ignore the fact that, this is one of the things, and it still stands true today in this country, that is one of the biggest hindrances of success still today. Car payments. There's billions of dollars of car debt in this country. And none of that stuff ever really made sense to me. Go to college, get the job, get the car, get the house, which is another thing I never really understood about the whole going to college to specialize in one thing, because I don't think it's till people start living their lives that they start to see how expensive everything really is, even despite the fact that they might make a couple $100,000 a year. I know a few people who make a couple $100,000 a year and still live paycheck to paycheck, and I also know people who don't make anywhere close to that but are sitting on a lot of money. You actually got to read in between the lines to spot these kind of people. They're usually a lot more humble, and they're usually just better people to be around. There's no reason for them to live paycheck to paycheck. They're not trying to keep up with anybody. They're not trying to impress people. They're not trying to punch above their weight class, obtain things that they don't understand just because they can afford it. It's another weird kind of mindset that this culture has sculpted. Bigger cars and even things like cell phones can be a status symbol. What a joke. I probably got more done with my $100 phone than most people do spending thousands of dollars. That $100 phone got the job done for over 5 years and I still have it, So there's a lot of conscious decisions that I think a lot of times people who have taken their own route and have had to take the time to develop skills, there's other skills and other things that they become aware of, other things that they adapt and learn because of the path that they're on. So put some effort into acquiring some skills. It doesn't matter if you went to college, how old you are, young, old, if you have nothing or have the world. There's no reason to not seek knowledge and to not further expand upon what you can do and your capabilities, because together the differences that we have, the different skills, the different parts of each other that we are, that's what makes this whole thing possible, and that's what really drives a positive progression, when we can learn from each other, because the knowledge that you have isn't the knowledge that I have. And I'll tell you something personally about me, okay? Something that I wanted to become, I settled on at a very young age, was a person that never stopped learning. That was my lifelong goal, you know what I mean? I told myself, I always wanted to stay open to learning. And hopefully there's more people out there who can be entertained and find entertainment and joy in learning, you know what I mean? I get it, and that's why no one talks about it, because it takes time. Again, everything, skills, take time to acquire. And nobody wants to spend their time. But you'd be surprised how quickly it goes by. And if you're spending that time wisely and learning skills, how quickly you can build upon what you start building. And I just hope that like I could learn something on my deathbed at 90 years old if I had lived that long, 100 or more, who knows. But to be able to be open enough to learn forever is, you know, the key. It's the key to happiness for me, you know. And whatever it is for you, I urge you to pursue that. Find what makes you happy. Experiment and take that time, because it will pay off. And if anything, that's what I want to help you to do. All right? Find yourself. Find out how much you're worth, your value, because it's really in what you can bring to this world, what you can bring to others, you know? What you can do for yourself. At the end of the day, it's a beautiful thing, but the more you can do for yourself, the more you can really do for others. And that's a big picture, you know. But everything takes time, and patience is a virtue. So guys, if you guys want to hear more, drop a comment below, and don't be afraid to exercise your skills, all right? Like talking on camera right now like I'm doing, huge skill. Didn't realize how difficult it would be, even just voiceovers from some of my last videos. It's a little bit more challenging than you would expect to sound natural. So if you'd like to see a little more, like, subscribe. Much love and many blessings.